In this demo, I would like to showcase a prototype of a dashboard that is built using Resolve, more specifically Resolve's human-guided automation. As you know, in the IT space, there are some use cases which would mandate end-to-end automation, but there are also use cases wherein we need to cater to human intervention to not just gather data but also to manage by taking corrective actions. Now, in this demo, I'm going to focus more on the former, although Resolve is very strong in the space of incident resolution and taking corrective actions. So, as you see in the figure in the screen here, every enterprise solution consists of multiple key stakeholders, which is broadly divided into business, wherein we talk about business folks who may want insight into what's happening. Now, the context I have is from a BPO context, so you would need to know about what are the different invoices that was processed today, what are the transactions that are still pending, which are unsettled, how are we from a compliant perspective. So you may want to dig deep and get a quick summary of where we go from a business perspective. There are other folks who are more interested from a data perspective. You may have support folks or even some business analysts to know how many files have come in, did we process all of them, how good are these incoming files, what are the number of how many number of invalid records do we get. So I could go and list down the files. Now remember, this could be run by an engineer who doesn't really have credentials into an SFTP folder, but he can use a UI, and in a controlled manner we let him not just view the files, but we may also let him validate the contents of a file. As you would see in the screen right now, I am picking a particular interface, and I would want Resolve to run some analytics and get me information about what are the mappings, how many records are there, and many other details. So I could sort of get an insight into what the data itself is, or I could go and query some tables and all other good things. The third perspective is from an application perspective. You may have application owners who are interested to know what are the different applications that constitute this solution. In this case, you got an integration hub, you got Resolve, you got ServiceNow. So let me just pick one of them, and I would like to see the status of my Resolve application. Resolve, as you know, consists of multiple processes. They all need to work in tandem, and of course here it's on a 3-node cluster. So Resolve has gone ahead and ran those checks, and it is giving me the state of all the processes in all the 3 nodes. And as long as I have it green, I know that we are good to go. Or I could go and dig deeper and see into any local agents or remote agents that are out there and get to know their health as well. The last stakeholder would be what I would call as infra folks, who are more interested in the technology. What are the different servers in play to host these applications? It could be my SFTP server, it could be my cloud-based ServiceNow, or maybe my on-premise Resolve. So I could scan all the Resolve servers. As I said, Resolve in this case runs on a cluster. So rather than me logging into 5 different Linux boxes, I could just click here and get to know the health. Now think about this. If your engineer would need to gather all the information, they would need to go into each of those boxes, run different Unix shell scripts or different commands. He needs to be aware of what scripts to run. But here, I provide this dashboard will just give you all those information in one shot, and it's not just one server, but you see this is your node 1, this is your node 2, and I could go all the way down to my remote agents as well. Or I could go and get additional information. For example, I want to know what are the network drivers that was installed on a particular node. What is the OS? What is the network details or the performance? All those things can be got, although I may not be an SME in any of those particular areas, and you get all those information. So the key here is uh, we want to enable key stakeholders to have quick access to the information of their interest. Um, we do not want we do not want support folks or the operations team logging into multiple um, heterogeneous environments, having skill in terms of what would be a good performing application or what would be a network that is good in a healthy state. All those things are taken care of by running these automated scripts on the background. That way we equip these engineers to have a controlled access to the information of interest without compromising the on the fact that they may have less knowledge, without compromising on security. We're not giving away the credentials to any of these boxes, but still they could run all these scripts. And also we do not want to compromise on quality in terms of being alerted as soon as possible in case there are any compliance issues or any outages which we want to take a corrective actions on. So as I said, this is just a prototype. You could as each of those stakeholders could notify appropriate people, they could take corrective actions, they could alert different teams. So that was the whole purpose of this particular demo. We want to have one dashboard, not multiple screens that people will have to hop into, wherein you get a collated 360 view of information, which will save a lot of time and effort. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.